Hi, my name is Danielle Hubbard, and I'm a second-year nursing student, and I'm a combat medic with the Army National Guard. A lot of students have the opportunity to meet with colleges growing up, but I didn't have that high school experience. I was, for lack of better words, homeschooled, but without an education. I didn't meet with someone from Umpqua Community College until driver's ed, and I was about 16 years old. And that was my first inkling that there was even a college out here. I knew the only way that I was going to get out of my parents' house was to take that step on my own. So I took the van they let me use and I moved out. I put everything in my van, and that was my first home. From that point, I had the wonderful opportunity of meeting with the principal of Phoenix Charter School, and she set me up to go to school through Phoenix and through their early college program, which was actually out at UCC. From that point, I knew I was set. I had to go to Umpqua Community College because that's really where I got my footing as a young adult. I was set on the paralegal program. I wanted to be a lawyer so I could advocate for people that were in rough situations like myself, but as I got into it, I realized I didn't have that hands-on connection with people that I really wanted, so I took a gap year. I joined the military as a combat medic. I had the opportunity to work on a hospital mission during the peak of COVID. I had no idea what nurses did, so I got to see how much they advocated for patients, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, I have to be there, I have to be that person, I need to be at the bedside. I know that's where I belong. So I changed my initial plan of being a paralegal in preparation for law school to being a nursing student. We kick off the day with class. We will start with our overall curriculum, and then we'll dive into group projects that really build on that evidence-based learning that we've discussed. After that, I will go to the tutoring center, and I will spend a couple hours there helping tutor students and work on the material that really seems to challenge my classmates and helps build on that understanding for myself. I've got to spend some time in the ICU as part of my integrated practicum. It's the last phase of being in nursing school, and it's one of our favorites because we get to take 2 years of knowledge, textbook knowledge, and put it into patient care. There's been some really critically ill patients, and seeing members of our community in that state, it's been hard for me, but it's also been very rewarding because I've watched people go from being intubated to extubated to talking to their family and on their way to being discharged, and that is a very rewarding feeling. So I ended up going to the State of the Union because our state representative, Val Hoyle, had a huge interest in veterans and allied health. She reached out to me and she said, I think you would be the perfect fit, the perfect guest for me to bring to the State of the Union. That is an opportunity I didn't even know was a possibility. It was such a intense, overwhelming experience because you were soaked in history. There was nothing there that hadn't been historically important. I got to sit above it, so I got to see the tops of everybody's heads and everything. So I got to see as they came in, watch as people flowed into the room and filled in, and there was a lot of pomp and circumstance when the president came in. Everybody stood. Didn't matter what side you're on. There was a lot of respect. I kind of expected to see a lot of that division that we hear about in the news, and a lot of that division we see even in our own community between political parties. But when we got there, it was amazing because there wasn't that animosity that you see in the news. There wasn't that anger and that disdain for each other. There was warmth and kindness, and that part really stuck with me because we only highlight those bad moments, and there's so many good moments. So when I was leaving the State of the Union, I was expecting an easy exit, very well organized, just like our entrance had been, but our original plan to meet up did not work out. So I was lost in the Capitol building, and it is huge. So I wandered into this, what looked like an exit. I couldn't tell if it was a conference room or an exit, and I opened the door, and peeking out at me was an entire SWAT team or something, full ballistic vests, night vision goggles, rifles, and they were looking at me and I was looking at them. I'm thinking I'm not a national security threat, and they're thinking like she looks really lost. So they said to me, they're like, this is not the bathroom, you need to leave. So I found Val Hoyle a little ways further down. She's like, where were you? I just finished talking to the president. And I was like, well, I just found all of his defense, so we met half and half. Oh, the person that I met that I really liked the most, it's actually Miss America. I wanted to meet her because she is the only service member who's ever become Miss America. And she's currently actively serving in the Air Force while holding this responsibility to represent her country. So I had the opportunity to talk to her, and I don't know how to say it, I was just absolutely amazed. I was starstruck. My future plans include finishing my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing while I'm deployed. Hopefully when I come back stateside, I will have a bachelor and I can kick off my nurse residency program right where I left it. From that point, I hope to pursue a master's, and I would like to focus on becoming either a nurse practitioner or focus on education, because I want to be able to give back to future nurses like the nurses in my life have given back to me. I think if you're here at the Legacy Ball, you're here to invest in our future, and you already have that in mind. So give with my story in mind, give with the story of past students in mind and future students, because there will be future students because of you. If I didn't have the scholarships that the foundation provided, I don't think I would be here. I think it would be really hard for me to break that cycle of poverty. I think it's a really sobering reality. I haven't really fully thought of how different my life would be.